Good morning, children. Let us begin with Standard 5 English Grammar, Unit 18, Tenses, Part 1. So, what are these tenses? Tenses means time. The word tense gives you the time. So, when in a sentence, whenever we read and we have certain verbs in it, we say it is in a certain tense. So, it is telling us the time. So, we have learned in our first semester about a sentence. So, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words which gives us sense. So, now each sentence, it has a verb in it, and each sentence can be divided into two parts that we have learned, and it is the subject and the predicate. Now, how do we divide this into a subject and predicate? First thing, we see the verb in the sentence, and then we divide it into two parts. So, after the verb and after the verb, whatever comes, we say it is the predicate. For example, he has a pencil. So here, this is a complete sentence. It is making sense. We find the verb that is has. So our subject will be he, and has a pencil will be the predicate. So here we have divided our sentence into two parts, subject and the predicate. So a sentence can be divided into two parts, and a sentence can also be divided into three parts. So the three parts will become subject, verb, and the object. So for example, when we just discussed, we wrote he has a pencil. And when we divided it into two parts, we wrote he is the subject and has a pencil is the predicate. But now when we divide the same sentence into three parts, we have he has the subject, has as the verb, and a pencil will be the object of the sentence. So here we divide the sentence into three parts, subject, verb, and object. So, as we all know, what is a verb? A verb is a doing word. It shows us the action. So, in a sentence, how do we find out the verb? When we see a word which is showing some action like eat, sleeps, dance, jumps, so we say that they are verbs because they are action words. So, it is a verb. So, the verb which we choose in the sentence always tells us that when that action was done, whether it is done now or it was done earlier or it will be done afterwards. So these verbs, they tell us when that action was done. So according to that verb in the sentence, we know about the tense. So now let us see and learn more about this tense. What are the tenses? So, tenses are of three main types. Which three main types? Present tense, past tense, and a future tense. So, what is a present? Present means what we are doing just now or what is done today. Past will be what we did tomorrow. And future is what we have not done and we will be doing. So, these are the three main tenses, that is the present tense, past tense, and the future tense. So, each tense, that is the present, past, and future, they all have three types. That is, it has a simple tense, continuous tense, and a perfect tense. Means, present, when we talk about the present has a simple present tense, present continuous tense, and a present perfect tense. Same for past. Past has a simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense. And future. Future also has a simple future tense, future continuous tense, and future perfect tense. I am trying to explain these tenses in different parts. So today we will learn only about the simple tense of all the tenses, that is present, past, and future. So we will see that how the simple tenses of the present, past and future are formed. So, and in the next part we will learn about the past, and the third part we will learn about the future. So all this is based on your chapter itself. So when a verb in a sentence denotes an action done in the present time, the verb is said to be in the present tense. So when we select a verb in the sentence and we understand that it is saying about the present time, then we say that that sentence is in the present tense. For example, now let us see. So in the simple present, we write a sentence, the sun rises in the east. So here your verb is rises. The sun will be your subject and in the west will be your object. So here when we see the verb rises, it shows us that this is done in the present moment. So we say that this is in the simple present tense. Another example of simple present, he eats an apple. So he is doing eating. This eat is the verb. So here your subject is correct. It is he. And your object will be an apple. So this eat shows us the action which is done at the present moment. So we say that this sentence is in the simple present tense. Now, when a verb in a sentence denotes an action done in the past time, so we say the verb is to be in the past tense. So here again when we read the verb in the sentence and we know that some action was done in the past, so we say that this sentence is in the past tense. Now let us see the example. Now talking about the simple past, and we use the same sentence of the present. In present, we have written the sun rises in the east. Now in the past, that rise has become into rose, R-O-S-E. So that verb changes in the past. So from this verb rose, we know that it was done in the past time. So this is in the simple past. So we say the sun rose in the east. So this sentence is of the past time, that the sun had already rose in the east yesterday. So this is showing something of the past. Another example of a simple past, he ate an apple. If you remember, this ate in present we had written eat, E-A-T, but in the past it becomes ate. So from this verb ate, we understand that this sentence is talking about the past. That is the simple past, that he had already eaten an apple in the past. So eat is the present and ate becomes in the past tense. So now when a verb in a sentence denotes an action to be done in the future time, the verb is said to be in the future tense. And remember children, in the future tense in the sentence, we will always have to write will before the verb. That I will do it, I will eat it, I will go. So this will automatically will make you understand that this sentence is in the future. So for example of the simple future, we use the same sentence as the present, that was the sun will rise in the east. So here the subject is the sun, your verb is will rise, and your object is in the east. Now if you see properly this sentence, this verb rise, we had written it in the present also, that the sun rises in the east. So that rise, again we have written it in the future. So, and in the past we had written that rise into rose. We changed the spelling, R-O-S-E. But in future again we write rise. So we need to keep in mind that when we are writing the simple future, we again write the verb of the present itself in the sentence, and before that we add will. So it is written like the sun will rise in the east. Now this will rise shows us that this action is going to be done in the future tomorrow. Second example of simple future, he will eat an apple. So again here to show the future we need to write will before the verb. He is your subject, will eat is your verb, an apple is your object. So again, if you remember, in present we had written eat. In past we changed this eat into ate. And again in the future we write the present. But before that we write will to show the future. So whenever you read a sentence and you have will in that sentence, so automatically it comes into our mind that this sentence is of the future tense. So remember children, in the simple present, the verb that we find in the sentence, it always agrees to its subject. So whenever we pick out the verb, there are certain changes that we have to do in the verb in the simple present tense. So see these examples and try to understand that how we need to agree the verb with the subject. So see these examples. The first one, the sun rises in the east. Your verb is rise. So when we write it in the simple present, we see the subject, that is the sun. Here the sun is singular. So here how does the verb agree? We need to add an s after rise in this verb. So the sun rises in the east. So here the verb is agreeing with the subject. When the subject is singular, we need to add an s to the verb. And the verb, that is the root verb which we say is given to us in the bracket. So here rise is your verb. So we just add an s to the verb in the simple present. The second one, he eats an apple. Your root verb, your main verb is eat. Now in the simple present, when we write this sentence, we need to add an s to the verb. Why? Because our subject is singular. In the same way, the third one, she goes to school. Your root verb is go, but here we have written es. So in certain verbs, we need to add an s, and in certain verbs, we need to add an es. So here to go, we need to add an es to the verb to agree with the subject, because again our subject is singular in this sentence. In the first sentence, rise, R-I-S-E, the root verb itself, it ends with an e. So here we do not add again an es. So we just added an s. I hope you are trying to understand. Now see the fourth one. They eat an apple, and your root verb is eat. So here the verb is written, the same root verb is written in the sentence to agree with the subject. So what do you understand? That when your subject is plural, we write the same root verb in the sentence. We do not add any s or es to it. Now the fifth one, we. Again we is plural. So, and the root verb is go. So again with the plural verb, we write go to school. Now I and you, they are singular. But still when we write it in a sentence with singular subject, in this I and you, we never add an s or es. We write only go. So these are the changes of the verb that has to agree with the subject. And this we need to keep in mind when we are making any sentence in simple present. Certain verbs, the certain root verbs, we need to add an s, and certain root verbs we need to add an es when our subject is singular. And we do not add an any s or es to the verb when our subject is plural. Now see this exercise 1. We need to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb given to us in the bracket. Now the verbs that are given to us in the bracket are the root verbs. Now when we read the sentence, we have to see our subject. if a subject is singular, to that root verb we sometimes have to add an s or an es, and if a subject is plural, we don't add any s or es to the verb that is given to us in the bracket, and we write that same verb in the blank. So the first one is, she dash a new guitar, and your root verb is have. Now this have in present it changes into has. So here we write she has a new guitar. Second, he dash to Paris every summer. Your root verb is fly. Now he is singular. So this fly, F-L-Y, we do not add that Y. We remove that Y and we add an IES to that verb in the simple present. So here we write he flies to Paris every summer. Third one, it always dash on Monday. Your root verb is rain. Again, it always, which is a singular subject. So rain, we will add an S to it and write rains. It always rains on Monday. Fourth one, you never dash with us. Your root verb is play. Again, as I said, you is singular, but here to the singular, the verb, we don't add an S. We write the root verb itself and we say, you never play with us. Fifth one, we dash what their plan is, and your verb is no. So now we write that same no in the blank. Why? Because our subject is plural. So we do not add any S or ES to our verb. Now we begin with exercise 4. This exercise, we have to change the whole sentence into the simple past. It is given to us in the simple present and we need to change it into the simple past. So your first one, the sun shines brightly in the sky. So your verb is shines, which is in the present. Now this shine in the past, it will become shone. And we write the whole sentence again. The sun shone brightly in the sky. The second one, the peon rings the bell. Your verb is rings, which is in the present. Now this ring, we have to change it and write the sentence in the past. So your sentence will be, the peon rang the bell. R-I-N-G, I changes into A in the past and it becomes R-A-N-G. Third, the clock strikes 11. So, this strikes will change into struck in the past and it will be the clock strikes 12. Fourth, she wears a diamond ring. So, wears is your verb, and if you see children, we are adding an S. Why? Because our subjects are singular. So, here this wear, which is our verb, in the past it will become wore and we write, she wore a diamond ring. Fifth one, a cold breeze blows every morning. So your verb is blows. Again, we have added an S because it is a simple present. Why? Because the subject is singular. Now this sentence we change into past and it becomes, a cold breeze blew every morning. Blows turns into blue, which is B-L-E-W. Then your sixth sentence, our team wins almost every year. So your verb is wins. So in the past it becomes, our team won almost every year. So wins, W-I-N-S. I changes into O in the past and we write W-O-N, won. 7. The birds fly over the bridge. Here we have written fly itself. We have not added any S. Why? Because the subject is plural. So now this sentence in the past it will become, the birds flew over the bridge. Fly in the past turns into flew. F-L-E-W. 8. The soldiers fight and win. So again, fight and win, both are your verbs and they are agreeing with the subject. Your subject is plural. So now this sentence in the past will be the soldiers fought and won. Ninth, Sita hides her face for shame. Hides is your verb. So in the past it will become Sita hid her face for shame. Hide, H-I-D-E. In the past it is H-I-D. 10th one, it cost a lot of money. So cost is your verb, and in the past this cost remains the same in the past also. So we write it cost a lot of money. But what is the difference? We do not add an S in the past tense. Now exercise 5, we again have to fill in the blank with the past tense of the verb given to us in the bracket. So now the first one, a stone dashed me on the head, and your verb is strike. So strike will turn into struck, S-T-R-U-C-K in the past. Second, this pen dashed me 10 rupees, and your verb is cost. So cost in the present is also cost, and in the past also it will remain the same spelling. So it will be C-O-S-T, cost. Third, I dashed her yesterday, and your present verb given to you in the bracket is meet, which is M-E-E-T. So in the past it will become one single E and it will become met, M-E-T. Fourth, the parrot dash away, your verb is fly. So fly in the past will become flew, F-L-E-W. Your fifth sentence is, his clothes dash fire, and your verb is catch. In the past it will become caught, spelling C-A-U-G-H-T. Sixth, he dash all hope. Your verb in the bracket is lose, L-O-S-E. And in the past it will become lost, L-O-S-T. Seventh, I dash down to rest. Your verb is lie. In the past, lie will become lay, L-A-Y. Eighth, the sky dash dark. Your verb is grow in the bracket, which becomes grew, G-R-E-W in the past. Ninth, I dash well last night. Your verb in the bracket is sleep. So sleep will become slept, S-L-E-P-T in the past. 10th, they dash down the tree, and your verb is cut. So in the past also it remains cut. 11, water dash in winter. Your verb is freeze. So freeze will change into froze, F-R-O-Z-E in the past. 12th, the hunters dash wild animals, and your verb is shoots. So in the past it will become only a single O and we write shot, S-H-O-T. 13, the waves dash high. Your verb is rise. So rise in the past it becomes rose, R-O-S-E. 14th, the ship dash, and your verb is sink. So sink in the past will become sank, S-A-N-K. 15th, she dash her servants. Your verb given here is awake. So awake in the past it becomes awoke, A-W-O-K-E. And then dash the fire, and the verb is light. So light will become lit, L-I-T in the past. So dear students, I hope you have understood these exercises which I have done, the first one, fourth and the fifth. They were of the simple present and simple past which I have discussed in this video. So now the remaining exercises according to the explanation I will send to you. So thank you and have a nice day, and try to complete these exercises very neatly in your English grammar notebook.